हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Nanu Pranam Prabhuji. Hare Krishna to all the devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances and Nanu Pranam. I invite you to the early morning short Bhagavatam class being organized by ISKCON Radha Govinda Temple, Kulai, Mangaluru. And I indeed invite you for and on behalf of His Grace Sri Namanista Das Prabhuji. We shall begin with the prayers. Prayers are very important. Prayers, let's have the mercy of the Lord to understand the message that He sends to us very clearly so that we can put that message into our practice life. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapatakabalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavasya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagar Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitasya He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरि प्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपाद वेशाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिन् इति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna to all the devotees. Please follow me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om
Om
Namo
Namo
Bhagavate
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om
Om
Namo
Namo
Bhagavate
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Narayanam
Narayanam
Namaskritya
Namaskara
Jaiva
Narottamam
Narottamam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire
Devim
Devim
Saraswatim
Saraswatim
Vyasam Tato
Tato
Jayamudire.
Jayamudire.
Srunatam Sukatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana
सर्वदा
Sarvatam Satatim
स्वपदां कृष्णः पुण्यसेव कीर्तनः
Hridayanta Stoya Bhadrani Vidunoti Surastata
हृदयन्तोऽस्य भद्राणि नोति सुहृस्तात्
Namaskritya.
नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया
प्रायेषु भद्रेषु भागवत सेवया
भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्टिकी
भगवती
भगवती उत्तम श्लोके
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी
नित्यं भागवत सेवया daily recitation, attending the classes or preaching of Srimad Bhagavatam removes all inauspicious things from our lives, and worshipping Krishna, the Supreme Personality of the Godhead, who bestows on us the Naistiki Bhakti, is the goal of our life. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Prescribed Duties for Mankind, Chapter 16, King Chitraketu meets the Supreme Lord. Verse number 5. Those who want to recite the verse may raise their hands. Bandhugnyatyarimasmatyasa mitrodasina vidisra sarva eva hi sarvesham bhavanti kramasho mitaha. Madhubai Krishnan Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी प्रणाम्स प्रभु जी ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय बंधुज्ञात्यरि मध्यस्था मित्रो दासीन विद्विषः सर्व एव हि सर्वेषां भवन्ति क्रमशो मितः. थैंक यू प्रभु जी.
Thank you Mataji. Usha Dayavati Devi Dasi ji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी प्रणाम्स प्रभु जी ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय बंधुज्ञाति हरिमध्यस्था मित्रो दासीन विद्विषः सर्व एवाहि सर्वेषां भवन्ति क्रमशो मितः. थैंक यू प्रभु जी. हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी.
Thank you. Pranandini Madhavi Devi Dasi ji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी प्रणाम प्रभु जी ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय बंधु ज्ञाति अरिमध्यस्थ मित्र दासीन विद्विषः सर्व एव हि सर्वेषां भवन्ति क्रमशो मिथः. हरे कृष्ण प्रभु. थैंक यू प्रभु.
Thank you. Chitra Mohini Devi Dasi ji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी प्रणाम प्रभु जी ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय बंधुज्ञातारि मध्यस्था मित्रो दासीन विद्वषः सर्व एव हि सर्वेषां भवन्ति क्रमशो मितः. हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी. थैंक यू.
Thank you. Vijaya Kumari Devi Masaji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी धन्यवाद प्रणाम प्रभु जी ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय बद्धज्ञातिमध्यस्थमित्रोदासीन विद्विष सर्व एवेहि सर्वेषां भवन्ति क्रमशोमितः. थैंक यू प्रभु जी.
Thank you. Surya Prakash Rao Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Mataji. Prabhuji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु धन्यवाद प्रणाम्स ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय बंधुज्ञात्यारि मध्यस्थ मित्रो दासीन विद्वषः सर्व एव हि सर्वेषां भवन्ति क्रमशो मितः. हरे कृष्ण प्रभु.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandat Pranam. Madhumati Vilasini Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी दंडवत प्रणाम प्रभु जी ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय बन्धुज्ञात्य अरिमध्यस्थ मित्रोदासीन विद्विषः सर्व एव हि सर्वेषां भवन्ति क्रमशो मिथः. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Now, Revati Ratnangi Devi Dasi ji. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी प्रणाम प्रभु जी ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय बंधुन्यादि अरिमध्यस्थ मित्रोदसीन विद्वषः सर्व एवि हि सर्वेषां भवन्ति क्रमचोमितः. हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी थैंक यू वेरी मच.
Thank you, Mataji. Uma Kulkarni Mataji. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय बंधुज्ञाति अरिमध्यस्था मित्र उदासीन विद्वषः सर्व एवा हि सर्वेषां भवन्ति क्रमशो मितः. हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी.
Right. Now, who is this GA8 Alex? Hare Krishna, Mataji. Go ahead. Okay. Subbarao Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Let us pranam, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Am I audible, Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Loud and clear.
Bandhugnatyari madhyastha mitrodasina vidvishaha sarva eva hi sarvesham bhavanti kramasho mithaha. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, can you read synonyms for us?
Yes, Prabhuji, sure, Prabhuji. Synonyms: Bandhu, friends; Gnati, family members; Ari, enemies; Madhyastha, neutrals; Mitra, well-wishers; Udasina, indifferent; Vidvishaha, or envious persons; Sarve, all; Eva, indeed; He, certainly; Sarvesham, of all; Bhavanti, become; Kramashaha, gradually; Mithaha, of one another. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In this material world, which advances like a river that carries away the living entity, all people become friends, relatives, and enemies in due course of time. They also act neutrally, they meditate, they despise one another, and they act in many other relationships. Nonetheless, despite these various transactions, no one is permanently related. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. It is our practical experience in this material world that the same person who is once friend today becomes one's enemy tomorrow. Our relationship as friends or enemies, family men or outsiders are actually the results of our different dealings. Chitraketu Maharaj was lamenting for his son who was now dead, but he could have considered the situation otherwise. This living entity, he could have thought, was my enemy in my last life, and now, having appeared as my son, he is prematurely living just to give me pain and agony. Why should he why should he not consider his dead son his former enemy, and instead of lamenting, he is be jubilant because of an enemy's death? As stated in Bhagavad Gita 3.27, Prakriti Kriti Nama Manani Gunaha Karmani Sarveshaha. Factually, everything is happening because of our association with the modes of material nature. Therefore, one who is my friend today in association with the mode of goodness may be my enemy tomorrow in association with mode of passion and ignorance. As the mode of material nature works in this illusion, we accept others as friends, enemies, sons or fathers, in terms of the reaction of different dealings under different conditions. This chapter is following the incidents that occurred, we all went through, that Chitraketu Maharaj had millions of wives, couldn't get a child. Ultimately, Angira Muni visits him, bestows him with a son, and he gets a child. The child is so precious and so honored, so also his mother, that rest of the wives become envious, angry, and becomes enemy of the wife who got a child. Eventually, they poison the child and kill him. This is a stage where Chitraketu is excessively lamenting, lying by the side of a dead son, like a dead body, and feeling that there is no life left for him to live. Looking at that excessive lamenting, Narada and Angira Muni enters again and explains to him about the spiritual aspects of the body and the soul, the eternity of the soul, and how soul changes the body. This, to some extent, helps preventing further lamentation of Chitraketu. However, to further explain the Chitraketu Maharaj and giving him transcendental knowledge to help him cross the ocean of material life, Narada Muni puts the soul back into the body of his son by his own mystic power to explain to him further. The first 11 verses describes all that child who has reawakened after his death because of simply a mystic power of Narada Muni is actually speaking. Mataji took us through 4 slokas, and the sloka that went through the last was the 4th one, which tells us all about the about the soul being eternal but changes body. It explained to us that, in short, the son explained to Maharaj Chitraketu that the body that the soul gets is as per his karmas. He may get several bodies, one after the other, and might jump to the demigods or might go to an animal life. might jump from vegetables into something very sophisticated like human species. But eventually, this is conditioning. And since one keeps on taking births and faces death, there are different parents at different time. But the purpose of the parents is to just provide a physical body. And since their purpose ends there, Jiva forgets all about the relationships that he had with his parents and with all others associated with him during the lifetime. So this was the spiritual aspect to have a first impact, which is always the best impact. Subsequently, in this sloka, they're trying to support whatever has been said earlier. And so they now moves on to the life itself. After telling some theory, which you and me do not see, if one explains in a real life situation, then we immediately understand the theory part of it very well. This is the experience that you, I, and all of us have. And that's why the son of Chitraketu now switches over to the present life scenario. We all know that there is only one thing constant in this life, the material life that you, me, and all of us live in. We know that it's an illusion. We know that it is temporary. And we know that everything keeps changing with every moment. However, there is one thing which is constant in this life, and that is the change. Life keeps changing, and that is the sole pole on which the whole thing exists. And it is this change that we all are fearful of. We all have the anxiety because we know that whatever is there today is going to change maybe in the evening or tomorrow. The worst part of this change is what is going to change is never known until it comes to your doorstep and starts affecting you. So you are sure something is going to change. You never know what is going to change. And that's a real bad situation. You are in multiple jeopardy. Really make yourself stable. And that's why we are all adhiras. We all have agitated mind. And we all are running around behind so-called some happiness. Since we are not dhira, we are not comfortable. And thus material life to all of us is with miseries and with lots of problems. Happiness does flicker, but it just flickers for a moment. We know from our experience and from our philosophers of the mankind explaining to us that whatever we feel for others is actually our dealings with that person. Mahatma Gandhi said that a person is never good or bad. It's your experience with that person that makes him good or bad. And thus it explains the eternal truth that the soul is such Chit Anand. It's only the bodily actions and reactions that decides that I am good or I am bad. The life in a such way grows into multiple avenues and ultimately taking you from one to the other remote corners of this material world. Srila Prabhupada vividly explains that today's friend is tomorrow's enemy, or vice versa, and that once someone is lamenting for something, he is lamenting in ignorance. It is the ignorance because on one side we say that we get the body as per our karmas and destiny. We do not believe in it. As very nicely exemplified by Srila Prabhupada, you could perceive the sun as the son of this life, or could also perceive him as an enemy of the past, because ultimately he came, gave a jubilation for a few days, and then he is dying, leaving you with lots and lots of miseries. Either way, it's true, because that's the karma and destiny that gets you the next life. And thus, he explains in detail that which parents are you talking about. It's because it's remarkable, but we forget ourselves and our work and the relationship at the end of the death. The death is end point for that material body, and nothing goes beyond even in subtle body. And thus we never remember what happened to us except the reactions of all that we did, the plus and minuses of all that we passed through. And this comes like a software that we install in our mobile with our contacts and messages, etc. Life begins there. In short, the explanation is going on very well in Srila Prabhupada's purport that first principle is life is with the change. The changes are continuous. The relationships change, environment change, the surrounding changes. And these changes are never remembered by the changes that we face through. In short, whatever I did in my last birth, I do not know. How many millions of births that I have passed through, I do not know. And that's why even if I meet someone who happened to be my biological father or mother, who gave me a body, I would not know. You remember the incidents where Sri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita describes in detail about how Bhagavad Gita was first spoken to Manu. and then it propagated, of course, from the sun god down to earth. And that's when Arjun picks up a question and says, but you are looking like me, so we are of the same age. How come you are that many thousands of years old? And he says, no, I'm not old. But the difference between you and me is that I know the entire 5,000, 10,000, whatever years are, and I remember them. You do not. Simply by not remembering, you only live with a burden of one life. If you look at momentarily, that if you would have remembered all the lives, the burden of that memory would have really crushed us all to live any more life at all. So in short, whatever God does, He is master. He is absolute truth. He cannot make mistakes. You and me, we have tendency to make mistakes beyond the tendencies to cheat and other things that we commonly do. The main problem in our life always has been the avidya that we have. And the biggest avidya or ignorance that we have is that we are the doers. I did this and I did that. Lord Krishna very vividly explains in detail in Bhagavad Gita that you are not a doer. He explains 5 different doers, and these are Jiva, Ishvara, and Prakriti, Kala, and Karma, where I am only a one small part. One may call it one small insignificant part, and thus I can't take credit of all that has been done by 5 different entities. Since I can't take the credit, I am also not allowed to take the fruits or claim the fruits of the work that has been done. And thus, Lord Krishna comes up with an idea that you have a duty to perform, so you perform your duty, but you have no right to claim the fruits of the duty that you did. And so you leave the fruits for the Lord. What we call in short a nishkam karma. But being on a material platform, we do not do that. And we always cherish and love the fruits, not only of our work, but even the work of our neighbor or someone else, if it comes along free of charge. With this tendency to find happiness is like asking for a cold breeze in front of a fire. The modes of material nature are also continuously acting on the conditioned soul, and it depends on which mode you are in to have your action and reaction with all your surrounding, whom you call your father, mother, children, your teacher, your friend, your enemy, etc. And so your action today, if you are in mode of goodness, would certainly be much better and far acceptable than when you are in the mode of either passion or ignorance. At that time, probably your reaction would be mostly unacceptable or be considered to be one of the bad ones. So there are so many things that act on ourselves, what we call jiva. And these material modes are very powerful. They never leave any conditioned soul for a fraction of a second away from them. And they continuously drive all jivas who are conditioned from one into another actions and reactions. In nutshell, the real life scenario is being explained by Chitraketu's son to everyone present there. And Chitraketu realizes, after realizing the verse that was explained yesterday by Premakishwari Mataji, about the spiritual part, this is the real life scenario that now comes in, where explanation is given. Why so many things are different, keep changing, and produces actions and reactions which are beyond the control of Jiva. We all have undergone almost all that has been explained here, one way or the other, knowingly or unknowingly. And we still are going on in almost a very similar situation every day. And that's the reason that we say that morning 3-4 hours of japa, morning arti, and other things that we do takes us through the rest of the 20 hours of material life. It's very difficult to adjust into the material life and get steady, forget about jubilant and happy. Since it is so difficult, everyone is asking for Krishna consciousness that explains to you how to change your consciousness into Lord Krishna's. Consciousness is something that we keep on thinking at a particular moment. If I am thinking about a nice sports car, my consciousness is to the sports car. If I am thinking about Krishna, my consciousness is a Krishna's consciousness. The aim is, if you keep your consciousness all the time to Krishna, in short, in a layman's language, remembering Krishna every moment and not forgetting Krishna, what we look for, an utopia or a blissful cognizant and eternal life, that is the ultimate goal that we achieve. This is not very simple, though it looks very easy and simple, but it requires one of the very difficult things, and that is total surrender. Until you totally surrender to Lord Krishna, this thing is never going to come to you. And thus you require to surrender to Lord Krishna. And obviously to surrender to Lord Krishna, you should be beyond a pure mode of goodness. And you should be completely detached, decontaminated, and Shuddha in your heart. And to remove all the anarthas and offenses from the heart, and clean the heart, we need to follow the 4 regulatory principles, which are very simple, and doing japa, kirtana, and all other 9 different processes of devotional service. This, in nutshell, is the bhakti mark, the elevator as explained by Srila Prabhupada, which takes you up to the final stage of the Lord, that is a Bhagwan stage. Rest of the processes are very difficult to perform in the present age of Kali. And when you ultimately end, you reach either to a Brahman effulgence or Brahma Jyoti stage, or a Paramatma, super soul that lives in your heart. But to reach to that final stage of Supreme Personality of Godhead, you got to mix bhakti with all other things that you have done. And that's why Srila Prabhupada explains to us the shortest, easiest, and the ultimate path of bhakti. Bhakti marg is comparatively simpler, easier, doesn't require a lot of extra efforts, and can come easily, provided you have a desire. So it all begins with the desire. Only desire creates the Shraddha, and only Shraddha takes you along until your Shraddha is firm and strong at the stage of Nishtha, when you stop falling and keep walking forward. You all know the 9 stages of devotional service, 9 pathways of devotional service. You are probably expert in that. And this is the only way out at the moment. Of all these, Nam Japa is the most important thing that not only we should not forget, but we should perform it very regularly. Because in this age of Kali, this is more or less like an antibiotic that you take to cleanse your heart, and thus it has to be taken in regularity and in a particular dose. This is how all our gurus explain to us to do 16 rounds every day. Until we reach to that stage, we keep collecting dirt in our heart, and that keeps increasing. When the room is full of something, no new thing can be brought in. So the heart needs to be cleansed, and so japa needs to be done regularly for a period of time until your heart gets cleaned up. And of course, when you are doing that, the reason to follow the 4 regulatory principles is simple: not to get further dirt, a new dirt to come into the room. Otherwise, you clean the room and the new dirt enters in. So you keep cleaning and cleaning without any evident cleanliness. Srila Prabhupada explains this so nicely and so well that I think if we don't understand, then there is grossly something wrong with us, or we do not have the mercy of the Lord. Mind you, all these things are done with the mercy of the Lord, and Lord is always there to help at any given time, and always is ready. And I'm sure you must have experienced, many of you must have experienced that whatever you need in your bhakti, you suddenly get in front of you during the daytime or night, and your questions are answered in your mind very well. It's all the mercy of Lord Krishna. Any question, any doubts, any queries, any issues, any commentary, any revelation, please go ahead.
Prabhuji is so beautiful and so truthful. I was just thinking, even in our own life, that when we are born, we love our sisters and brothers. We feel they are everything. After the marriage and children, they also become our enemies because they lot of issues come between families, property fights, and all. And suddenly, in old age, we feel yes, we forgive them and forget, and again they become friends. And same, it happens to every relation. I mean, today it became a real revelation that even relationships are transient and they keep fluctuating every day. Today's enemy is tomorrow's friend, and today's friend and tomorrow's enemy. Thank you so much for just reiterating and bringing forth this. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much, Sugandhi Mataji. It is very nicely explained, and all glories to Srila Prabhupada. He is giving such wonderful purports that each purport that we read are the harsh realities of truth, and he explains it so very well. Thank you very much, Mataji, for telling us your revelation. Subharao Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hey Krishna Prabhuji, wonderful. Very nice to know that this is one of the realizations that everything is temporary, nothing is permanent. Only permanent thing is the devotion to Lord Krishna and thinking of Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you very much for
Bodies or bodily relation, bodies or anything, contents or anything, environment or anything is only temporary.
That's very true, very true. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Wonderful, Prabhuji. You are explaining such a crystal clear way that everything is very obvious and clear.
Thank you, Prabhuji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Madhumati Vilasini Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji. Go ahead, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you so much for the wonderful explanation, Prabhuji. And in practical experience also, Prabhuji, it most of the time it happens like two ways we can see. If anything goes wrong, we find fault on in someone else, Prabhuji. Like we try to find out because of them or because of him or because of she. Like I'm facing this situation. So this is the general tendency, Prabhuji. Any small thing happens, we try to find out like who is the cause. So we just forget ourselves and we find out, oh, who is the cause. And second way, Prabhuji, sometime we know this person may not think good about us. Still, we have to deal with him or her. Um, but there is a situation when Prabhupada says Sama Sarveshu Bhuteshu, like we know them, like they are not thinking good about us. Still, we have to consider them equally. Like we should not think negative about them, or we should not treat in ill manner, Prabhuji. So it's really tough, but that is the true. So that's what my realization was.
Thank you very much, Mataji. Thank you for your revelation. You are very right, and it's very true. I think in nutshell, we should try to be Dhira or Dhir Muni, and that's the best situation to live peacefully in this material world. Otherwise, we remain so much agitated, so much running around, that there cannot be anything more than the miseries. Thank you, Madaji. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, all of you, for attending the class. Thank you very much for your interaction at the end of the class. I really appreciate it. And all of you have a wonderful Krishna conscious day. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha krupasindhubhya evacha पतितानां पावनेभ्यो
वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. Anant Koti Vaishnav Vrinda. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank
Hare
you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Jai Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Surya Prakash.
So wonderful.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Nothing can be added. Your explanation is wonderful. Everything Krishna clear, Krishna crystal clear.
Thank you,
Crystal
Prabhu.
clear, Prabhu. Very good.
Beauty is in the eyes of beholder.
అక్కడికి వస్తాను చెట్లు
Thank you. Thank you. Hare Krishna.